Good morning. It's Michelle Johnson, the face paint lady in the mid-Atlantic, North American United States. This is so exciting. This is the very first time that I have had this opportunity to go live with the chalkboard. So I'm going to move my camera back just a bit because I want to get Kokopelli. I want to get Kokopelli in there. My painted hubcap. See it in the top? And I want to get as much of the chalkboard as I can. So I'm going to make a little adjustments here. There's the white ceiling. I like just an edge of that because I'm creating my boundaries. That's fantastic. Gotta have Kokopelli up there in the corner. And I don't have a paintbrush on me right now, but I need to make a list of things that I need because a paintbrush would come in handy. Why would a paintbrush come in handy as I'm standing in front of a wall that's painted with black chalkboard paint? And isn't that one of the coolest things you've seen? So I was raised in the 60s and 70s, and my teachers actually had chalkboards, which was really cool. And let me put my clipboard over here. Wow, let's set up our spaces. It is August 27th, I believe. I do know that the day is Thursday, and I certainly know it's 2020. Blessings to you, your friends, your family, yourself, your spirit, your animals, the birds, the plants, the air, the soil, the water. Blessings to you and me and all of us who are experiencing and on planet Earth here during the times of COVID, which are showing us the places in our world and our institutions and our societies where we have room for growth, where we have neglected the human being, the human dignity. And let's not lose faith or face around that. Let's totally step into our ability as humans, as animals, to create art. So this is cool. The reason why I mentioned I wanted a paintbrush, one, it would give me a longer reach, but right now I'm going to take my trusty little green bucket of water. I got a trusty little green bucket of water. I'm going to take it, use an old wash rag that I have in it, and kind of mark out my space here, because this is the first time I've worked with the camera. And I got a cute little stool. So the trick of all this is to look at you, look at me, and to not fall off the stool. But you know, anytime that we try something new, anytime that we try a new way of thinking, a new way of doing, of being, of feeling the blessing, of being the blessing, anytime we do that, we're going to need to set up a space. Now, each and every one of us has a different space. We have a different area, and isn't this fun? I would wish that each of you, if this actually appeals to you, does this look like fun? And maybe there's a little overlay, a little vague overlay. So maybe this board goes back far enough, but I think, or even further than I do, but I think that's far enough. Great. Now I'm going to make a dash over to Kokopelli. The reason why I call that Kokopelli is hopefully you're familiar with Kokopelli, the legend of Kokopelli, which occurs across many cultures and times. If you're not, Koko, Kokopelli, is Kokopelli. I'm going to show you Coco, my version of Coco. This is a painted hubcap from 2015. And I have Kokopelli as a native, as an indigenous individual, using a headdress which would have been made from the birds local to where Kokopelli either was traveling to or had originated from. Here's the flute the music for all of us musicians, and I'm not one. This would be a flute, a recorder, a tin whistle would be something that would be easy to carry if you were a traveler. And all this green, wild, wonderful moon, stars, energy, planets opening, these would be the stories, the cosmology, the music, the dancing, the celebration that would happen in a village, a town, an area where Kokopelli would stop and visit. So make your own version of your Kokopelli. But so 5 years ago I created, let me make sure that date is correct, 2006. Oh my gosh. I was only 9 years off. So Kokopelli is one of my hubcaps that I refused and still refuse to sell. But when we hang Coco up here, we can even blow, we can even turn the orientation of his flute to come down and give us content and blessing. So I need to get back to my washcloth, which I put in water to rinse. So I'm listening to Abraham Hicks recently, been on a wild spiritual journey like the rest of you since my first book that I read, which was the New Teachings for an Awakening Humanity, which I read in 1988. We've been on this path a long time together, friends. And we are the people, and now is the time. We are perfectly suited to have our talents in this place. We are perfectly suited to see the things that we personally see and to interact in the way that we interact, and to find other people who would also listen to our words and interact with us in ways that would be of uplift to the common good. I love beach buckets. You know, this green bucket comes from a bar restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland. I didn't even go in and eat at that restaurant when I was there a couple years ago. I just saw the fact that they gave out their little kitty. You know how you go to a restaurant and you get crayons and stuff like that in a placemat? So I believe, if my memory serves me, obviously like it did with the year that I painted Kokopelli, I went up to the hostess and I'm like, may I please have one of the buckets? And obviously, I guess she gave me one. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it. So I love beach pails and buckets. They're fantastic. They're fun. They let us hold chalk. So what the practice is for me, and what I'd like to share for you, is in this time of great turmoil, as we come out of this time of human violence and disrespect and confusion over who should be educated at the highest levels, who's essential, who's non-essential, who works for money, who has their money work for them, I'm going to resort to art. It's what I know. I'm a self-taught artist, face painter, the face paint lady in the DMV. For you locals, you know that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. If you're not local, that's what DMV stands for. Hello, me again. I'm going to encourage you to take notes, have a note by your bedside at night, some kind of pad, some kind of scribble place. I actually wrote notes. Where's my clip? Here it is. Not a clipboard. It's a Kleenex box. So last night, I had run out of my final little piece of paper on this one notepad. Ran out of it. Ran right out of it. So I'm like, I don't feel like getting up. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. What can I do? And so I had a box of Kleenex, and I wrote notes on that. So the practice, the prayer, the blessing, the meditation is that I wake up in the morning, have my glass of warm water, clear. It's not even a reset in the morning because we've woken up from the time when we're most connected to our nonverbal, symbolic self. So, yeah, you're thinking to yourself, here's what you're thinking to yourself. Why am I watching this lady clean off her chalkboard? Well, because that's what needs to happen today. And I need to create the space for me to look at my notes from my Kleenex box. And my notes say the following. Medi X. I'm absolutely intrigued. Oh, that reminds me. And it's okay if I jump all over the place. This is my practice. This is me. And when you start really connecting with your nonverbal and your higher self, which loves you beyond measure, you will find that you have a wealth and a plethora. Don't you love that word, plethora, of content with which you need to sift joyfully through play, doodle, whatever your play practice is. Sift that to get down to the amazingness, which is your value, your blessing, your joy, your livelihood, to bring your message of peace to this world and support yourself, because all of us are essential, period. So there was my Y branch. When I was out walking to get newspapers for my neighbors, I told you I was really focused in on the X, marks the spot, and for a year I've been looking at the letter Y. So I think we should all go in branches. I think we should all go out on a limb. We have to go out on a limb. Crows go out on limbs. They go out there, they hang on. When it gets too rough, they let go, they hang on, and they let go when it's too rough. So my notes say, trauma drops, blessing blends. The 430s to the 440s, I'm reading Dune, Heretics of Dune, just about at the end because it's a 470-page book. The 430s and 440s said some powerful things to me about humanity. I want to look at the prefix celeb, as in celebrant, celebrate, celebrity. And the 80-20 rule, I'm like 80-20, 80-20. I think it should be like 80 play, 20 livelihood. And then with my affinity for X, maybe I just draw a daggone X. Let's draw an X. Ooh. So I would say that it's more of a 40, 40, 10, 10. And there's a couple. And when you were a kid, I know I would say this with my friends, like you'd have a promise. You'd say, cross my heart and hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. Did you used to do that? So I'm thinking to myself, you know, like if you broke a window or you did something that everybody would not like their parents to know at that moment, you'd be like, don't tell. And then you'd say to your friend, cross my heart and hope to die, stick a needle in my eye. Oh my gosh. And then at 6:03 this morning, I heard a train. There's a local train. And it reminded me of my friend Michael Gollan, who passed of ALS in November 2018. Back to Chalk Talk. This is so much fun. And I want to finish it up soon. This is just a test. Beep, beep, beep. Of the emergency get yourself some peace system, because there's going to be no benefits from us all running around like chickens with our heads cut off. This is way too much fun. So I'm going to go up here with a green chalk. And I got my little bucket of chalk. I love silver. I love buckets. This one I'm not going to put water in, but it's really good for my chalk. And I have a handy dandy little step stool. How are you doing down there? And an apron too. And I thought it was cool to be black like the chalkboard. So I wore black clothing today. So I'm going to rewrite the word resort. I had written the word resort. And I got a little dash here between re and sort. I had written the word resort. I think we can resort to art. I think we can resort to joy. I think that we can resort what we're doing. And I think that wouldn't this be a blessing? Here's what I thought. No matter where you live, whether you have a home or not, if we can have those of us with businesses and ideas and empathy to create a resort-like feeling in everyone's home. When I say resort, I mean that you're free from molestation. I mean that you're free to study. You're free to eat, have a safe source of food, and be surrounded by other people who are caring for you. I'm not talking big, wild resorts where we lose our mind, drink a bunch of drinks, sit out on the beach and aren't kind to or tipping locals. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ability to refresh and to settle and to relax. So this is enough of a video now for me to see how this comes across. So I have a Kleenex box with notes. I will continue a meditation once this light goes off because I would like to get back to the point where I am. This is so cool because I'm figuring out how this is going to work. And I appreciate you being in on this. It's so cool. I am going to create the following practice. And the following practice is this. I know that in the evening, as I sleep through the night, there is communication and relaxation and blessing and symbology. Don't you love this? Don't you love my old wash rag? I'm going to wake up in the morning. Stay tuned into that. Meditate, chill. I even like the phrase calibrate. I think I may have heard the word meditation too many times. And I'm going to make sure that that content, that blessing, this X marks the spot. This is where you are. This is where I am. This is your little people self. This is my little people self. We are actually joyous human beings with our feet strong and powerful in this world. And when children are raised in neighborhoods and families and educational systems that give them the opportunity to grow and learn, it's amazing what a decent human being can do. I think we're one of the most powerful energies in the universe. Kokopelli is giving his blessings, or their blessings of humor, love, light, and knowledge through symbology from the time that we dream, through symbology as we dance, as we draw, as we doodle, regardless of the size and shape of where you are at now. Anybody can find a black piece of paper, a black piece of cardboard. You can get something that'll allow you to leave your mark. Trust, believe, laugh, and play. You are worthy and you are loved. Thanks for tuning in. The Face Paint Lady.